How's it going? And welcome to the Caffeinated Coordinators Podcast. My name is Scott Pellegrin, Coach Pell, and joining me from the other side of the ball, he is the king of the call sheet, the quarterback guru. He has so much knowledge in his head, it might actually explode. My man, Coach G, Tyler Gaspard.
Comment ça va? And, man, I just want to apologize now. Forgot to take my allergy medicine. Kind of got the teary eyes, itchy eyes, and might sniffle a little bit. Try to stay away from the mic when I do that.
Yeah, don't be spreading all the germs on that thing.
It's Louisiana pollen.
And then the third man in the booth, the freshman football jack of all trades, the godfather of EATV, the voice of the Spartans, and all that knowledge lives in his head rent-free, Coach Eric Brownfield.
Thank you, thank you. Ça va bien? Ça va bien.
Hey, I like
Cajun
it.
French.
It's not bad for a North Louisiana guy.
Oh, we
Good,
taught
good.
you well.
And we got our old reliables here with Gaspar's Cajun Heat. Shout out to Coach Murphy. He kind of gave us he said that we couldn't really see the coffee with our bag.
I was about to
So
say.
he brought us a cup.
So, yeah, it's well done.
So shout out Coach
Yeah,
Murph.
well, feedback there.
I was in here when Murph brought the cup. He was like, here's for y'all podcast. I think it was bothering. Like, you know, some people's OCD
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was bothering that we was plugging River Rose from the big river, and he's like, bro, we can't see that. I don't know what that even is.
I used to have the cup, and then like this morning I didn't have time. I was trying to beat you here because I'm a competitor.
You know, styrofoam cups make the list.
They do. The good list.
Yeah,
For sure. Shout out Miss Yuzi for giving me.
that is such baloney. I've been using a
I know,
styrofoam
I
cup
know.
since I met you.
I know, but I'd go to the freshman academy to get me a cup of coffee, and they'd have these little community coffee cups.
Yeah.
And like by the time I walked back to my room,
You're done.
Drank it all.
This guy.
And she was like, "You got to get you some styrofoam cups." So one day she brought me one, and I poured my coffee. And I was like, "All right, got to do it."
I love Miss Yuzi. She's awesome. She's awesome. Oh, goodness, man. So what's been up? It's been like 3 weeks.
Dude, it's been a long time.
We had
That's your fault.
It is my fault. So we had a break. And I took a day off. Something else happened.
How dare you take a day off?
I think I might have took too many this year. Not too many. I mean, I took my allotted amount, but I'm getting towards the end, so I need to make sure I'm at work,
Yeah.
especially on Fridays, podcast day. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, the students and stuff too, but you know, podcast day for sure.
It's about to get into the nitty gritty for us too. Spring football is coming around,
That's right.
And then right after spring football, summer.
Yeah, man.
It's 3-4 days a week for summer. So we're gonna have a lot to talk about. We're gonna have some fun.
So I know what our topic is today, but you just gave me an idea for one of our rapid fire type questions. So just keep going. I was just
Okay.
We talking about summer football and
Yeah.
also
No, but I mean, it's true. Like, because you think about it, football's kind of all strength and conditioning with a little bit of touch of football from December to April. When you get into that end of April, May, it's football until the end of November.
I was gonna say the season starts.
Yeah, like I mean, and so the off season is kind of at its end now.
Yeah.
Because coaches have to start getting to that in season, making sure the playbook's right, making sure everything you want to do is in the playbook. That way you're able to install it. So it's about to get to a nitty gritty season for all the coaches.
I love it. I love it. It's a labor of love.
Yeah, it is.
You know, it's a labor of love. So let's talk about the format of today's episode because we're not gonna do a game, right?
No.
So, G, take us into the format of today's episode, why we're not doing a game, and some of the stuff we're going to be talking about.
So I think, like, we were talking past couple of days, like, what do we want to do? And it's like, we had a few things, and it's like, you know what? It came to me, I was like, let's just do a hot takes episode. Like a game within the episode itself. Just, like, literally like we're sitting in the office, lean back in our chairs, watching a little bit of film, and then look up at each other. You know what? What do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? And just have this open-ended discussion on anything that's been on your mind related to sports.
Absolutely.
Just like a legit locker room talk.
Okay. You jotted down a couple topics.
I did.
I thought of one. Mine could probably be a whole episode, but I think we could touch on it today, depending on where the conversation goes. But no, you start us off, man.
All right, and then obviously we'll have the list at the end.
The list.
All right. So the first one I got, and this has been a thing with me. And look, everybody picks on me. They're like, Coach G ain't got no swag, all this stuff. But like the myth of look good, feel good, play good. Like I just, to me, like I'm so much of a competitor. I don't give a crud what I look like.
I think you could say crap on the ATV.
Well,
I think it's okay.
Try not to.
No, you could do that.
I haven't heard the word crud since I was probably 11.
I don't
It's
give a
probably
crap.
worse. It's probably worse than crap, actually.
Oh, really?
It sounds worse.
Oh, okay.
You know, yeah.
I don't give a crap about what I look like. Like
There
I
we
just want to
go.
win. I just want to win. Like you can give me the biggest, baggiest, genie looking pair of pants. You can give me the biggest, ugliest jersey. Like it doesn't matter. I just want to win. Some people, it's all a confidence thing with them. But like I don't know when I was playing, like I had my baseball pants. I had the Babe Ruth style where I rolled them up halfway, then folded it over. Had like the khaki look. Football, like I mean, I had a black undershirt because my rib protector was a black undershirt when we were navy and gold. Like there was no, like I didn't care what I looked like. I just wanted to be the best I could be.
Is there something to the confidence aspect though? Like, is there something to okay, I feel good, so I could go play, or I mean, like you said, not for you, but you know, people. You played college, like people, your teammates. Is
Well, and the higher you get,
is the swaggy part that important?
like I don't.
I guess to other people.
I just went to McNeese, like, so I can't speak for any other colleges, but like they gave you the wristbands, like that was the wristband you wore. They gave you the socks, like so, and they gave you the undershirt. Now sleeves and everything that was different, but like we all had the same. We're given the same socks, given the same sweatbands, wristbands, all that. So it's like. And then the NFL, you
Conversation a little bit, but I think that's the point of what we're trying to do. So
yeah,
I was always a fan of a head coach who would kind of make, like he would meet the kids halfway, okay?
Right.
Like bring it back to high school. I worked with guys who said, you know what, man, look good, feel good, play good, swag out, whatever, who cares? Worked with guys who didn't let them wear anything that was not team issue. Nothing. Like visors, we had a kid break his nose and he was going to tough it out. So coach let him have a visor just so a stray finger wouldn't get in there. But that was the only one. It was strictly functional. I've always kind of been a fan of, all right, we'll meet you halfway. Like, if it's, and whatever, for me, it's, I don't like visors because I think it poses too much of a problem if you don't take care of it.
right.
You know, you don't clean it regularly. It starts drizzling, stuff like that. So I'd err on the side of probably no visors, but hey, any sleeve, wristband, any extra that you put on your body needs to be plain and either this color, that color, like school color. Let's say here, it needs to be blue, yellow, white, and plain. No designs, no fancy blue, yellow, and white. No. It's plain blue, plain yellow, or plain white. Not stripes, not a combination of the three, plain. And then if it's not plain, not wearing. That way you get a little bit of that swag that the kids like, but all right, we're not going so far out the way of, it's like people are putting their, before the game, they're putting their makeup on, they're putting their sleeves on, and they're checking each other, and they're taking Instagram pictures. Like, that's the part I didn't like. That's where it gets distracting for me.
Yeah, and that's like
Like, the simpler the rule, the better.
like why you need all of that? I don't know. I'm old school. Like, put on the uniform, go out, and do what you're supposed to do.
I get it. Dude. Why do you don't need
But
all that?
at the same time, like I understand, like people, like especially these days, care more about appearance, and it's what you look like, and then all like insecurities and everything. You just make yourself look good. Okay, now I ain't got to worry about what I look. I can go play.
I would love, and it takes that's the point of a uniform. It's supposed to take the thinking out of it.
Yeah.
You just get dressed and play.
Yep.
So it's funny. We could probably talk about down the road how game swag has changed over the years. Well, when I was in school, it was the thin LaDainian Tomlinson wristband that went right over your elbow.
Yeah.
You know, you put tape over the shape. Some guys had spat, but it wasn't spat with tape. It was like a zip up little cloth kind of deal that fit over your cleat, or you would do tape over your laces. That was kind of cool. Some guys would fold a sock over as spat. You know, it was.
See, I grew up in
changed a lot.
The Nike Pro Combat sock.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of in that era, or the actual like the long socks. It wasn't tights; it was long socks.
Mm-hmm.
But like NFL, like you can't have any skin showing on your legs, right? Is it just legs? Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to have everything covered. So I mean, it's pretty interesting how much the game and try to jump the gun. And honestly, let's just go to that one.
Go ahead.
We'll skip over my next one. I want to make sure I read it right way. Why is the game changing so much?
In what way? You talking about schematically or
just? I don't think it. Well, okay, that'll tie both of them in. So let's talk about just like the function of the game, like the rules of the game.
Okay.
Like why is it changing so much? Like what? I feel like the more rules they have, the more things are happening.
So I think that goes with the uniform policy. All right. Whether I set the rules, whether the governing body sets the rules, I think less rules, but more clear rules.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So going back to the sleeves. Look, sleeves, great. Plain, blah, blah, blah. Everything I said. When it comes to rules, I think the NFL makes a lot of rules because they are trying to make it a television show as much as it is a competition. Okay, they're trying to keep games close. They're trying to make sure there's as much similarities as possible. That way, you can't pick the winner no matter who's playing. It's not Michigan versus Ball State where you know that they might play out their shoes, but Michigan's beating them by 40. You know, if the first place team in the NFL is playing the last place team, the whole any given Sunday.
Yeah.
So I think they're trying to create parity, but as far as the health of the game, let's say, I think don't have 5 ways to call pass interference, and I'm afraid that in the NFL there's pass interference, there's illegal contact, and there's defensive holding. Mm-hmm. I'm afraid that's going to trickle down eventually. You know, and the NFL's making rules for different reasons. They're making rules for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
I think in high school or even in college, if it's pass interference, it's pass interference. If it's holding, it's holding. Don't see what you call and call what you see. Don't make it up. And with all these rule interpretations, I think referees are starting to I think that's what that was, flag.
Yeah, that's like it just made me think on a funnier note. The Blind Side is like whenever Michael Orr drove him all the way to the bus.
Oh, yeah.
The referee threw the flag and it's like, was he holding? No. Was he blocking after the whistle? No. What was he doing? I don't know. Excessive blocking.
Yeah, he hit him too hard. You know, and that's it though. I think in the NFL, it's changing because it's a television show.
But okay, I get all the concussion protocols, I get that, that's your brain and all this stuff, and I know we didn't have the technology we did back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s with all these bucket helmets that we had in the early 2000s.
Hell, we barely had it 10 years ago.
I get the helmet thing and the head-to-head contact, but all these I don't know, the hip drop tackle, I understand. The hip drop tackle, but is the hip drop is that the same thing as gator? The gator roll, is it?
It's not. I think the hip drop is an extension of the horse collar.
Okay.
Where you kind of pull your weight all the way back on a guy.
Yeah.
You're not running through a guy.
It's a knee killer. It's a knee killer.
Right.
Yeah.
The gator roll is kind of, and I have my issues with the gator roll, even though I'm a Pete Carroll rugby tackle guy. The gator roll, I think, people teach it weird, but different story. That's more of a you're still running through with your hips and then you roll. This is more of a grab
and just drop your dead weight.
Collapse. I'm going to collapse myself onto the knee of basically what you're doing.
I just think horse collar's a little bit easier to call because there's a definition there. Hip drop. How do you?
It's going to get tricky.
What does it matter where your hands like I said, horse collar's like, okay, well, if your hands are inside there, yeah, that gets dangerous. That's kind of an easy thing to call. Mm-hmm. That was probably a good rule, Roy Williams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dallas Cowboy. That's the Roy Williams rule before you Tanji.
Stop me.
But this hip drop thing, I don't know, man. It's just another way to score touchdowns and give a 15-yard penalty to somebody in an automatic first.
It's like the new baseball rule with like fielders can't want to steal or anything, like they can't guard the bag at all. They have to stay clear of the entire base path. It's like, what are we doing? Like, how are you gonna judge that umpire while you're watching the runner, you're watching the catch made, and you're watching the tag? Like, there's already so much you're putting on everybody, like referees and umpires, and
but y'all both said it. Y'all both said it, and it's right. It's a TV show, and pro sports are already that's what they are now. It is a TV show, and and if you don't think that's the college game now, why do you think we have completely obliterated the entire conference system? We have obliterated college football. We have obliterated everything we all knew college football was, and it's all because of TV money.
Like we're fixing things that didn't need fixing.
Mm-hmm.
I call that tinkering. Now you're tinkering. That's
and we're
different.
breaking things we can't fix in the process.
This might be a stupid question, but okay, you're a wrestling fan.
I am.
Okay, that's a TV show, right?
100%.
Do they get money somehow that a football game, just a competitive football game, doesn't? Like without all the TV things.
So that world is changing. Because the entertainment world is changing with streaming and that we can get all the way with that, but WWE makes a lot of money these days on rights fees because streaming platforms and TV networks and they need content. So your sponsors, your ratings dictate your sponsors, dictate your that's why the NFL gets billions of dollars from ESPN, CBS, and all these people because they generate so much ad revenue and eyeballs that, okay, we want you on our network. So wrestling, it used to be TV was the advertisement, so TV didn't pay you. Basically, right. It was like a local thing. That was their advertisement to sell tickets to the live show.
Yeah.
Now it's more sports style where TV is the main product, and they go on the road just because they have a fan base, but that's not the revenue-driven aspect.
That makes sense.
TV rights fees.
And like I said, it's obviously two different spectrums, but as a player, it would bother me. Like, if I were in the NFL, you're telling me, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. Why can't I just go out and play football?
Yeah.
Because that makes less money than doing it the way we're telling you to do it.
But isn't that why players are playing, to play football?
I don't know. I think they're playing for money.
Well, okay, now.
Yeah, I mean now, I don't think it was always that way, but I think now.
I'm old school. Yeah. Like my wife picks on me, she says, "You act like a 40-year-old," but at the same time,
well, no, it's older than that.
But it's I just don't understand. Money has its problems. It's good, but at the same time, don't forget why you're actually doing what you're doing.
It's money. They're doing it for money. I'm telling you.
No, they are.
I mean,
well, the guys
I understand.
You watched a Fox pregame show. Guys like Terry Bradshaw and Howie Long, they say it several times a year. One of them will look at the others like, we didn't make no money playing football. Because in that era, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
The money was not good. I mean, they made what would be considered good money, but even if you adjust for inflation, it's not what it is now.
They still had side hustles.
Right.
Money is devaluing the sport of playing football. Can we say that? Like we said, the rings are devaluing.
It's the greed. It's the greed.
Yeah, I guess the sport of playing football that you are proposing, that you're promoting. That's not it's the business of football that runs things now. That's what it is. It's a business.
And I get that, but
it's just I think it goes back to they're over legislating it, and the casual fan isn't going to care. They want to see scoring, but I think eventually you're going to alienate the casual fan because even the casual fan's like, what that penalty was for? I don't understand. If you or I watch soccer, no offense to soccer, but there's offsides in soccer, and there's certain alignment things in soccer that I don't really understand because I never really paid attention. But if I had some buddies that wanted to watch the World Cup, I'd watch it with them just because, screw it, I'm going to be a casual fan today. But I'm going to be the guy asking a gazillion questions because the rules are complicated to me. So I feel like football's going to get there. It's like, well, hip drop, what the hell is that? Like,
Well, I went to a Dallas Stars game, a hockey game. Never, I've been to like a Ice Gators game in Louisiana, like the Lafayette Ice Gators or whatever they were. But like, I didn't know any of it. I didn't know there was offsides in hockey.
Yeah.
It was pretty, man. Everything, that freaking puck goes fast.
So,
and what they do on that ice is unreal.
So let's hit another one. What else you got in your magic phone of notes here?
I got another one.
I got one. Okay, so this one might take us out. Burnout in the summer. You,
like as coaches?
Yeah, you talking about spring football coming up, and essentially that starts the season. You know, and I was having this conversation yesterday, and burnout in the summer. Like how do you? Because we all said it. I think we said it a few episodes ago. You are going to get to where you ultimately want to go. Even if you just played a 10-game season and you're on a team that's terrible,
yeah,
you need to catch a second win. But to get to where you want to go, you're gonna need a third win.
Yeah.
So how do? And I hate the word grind, and it's a grind. I think that's a cop out for guys who just don't know how to manage their time.
Mm-hmm.
Hot take there, list. But how do you manage the quote unquote grind to where your guys are still fresh and excited when the real season starts, when school starts? So here's why I say that. You burn out guys in the summer. Well, not only is the season starting, they might be pumped for that. Man, school starts in August too. It's like, man, I didn't have no break. I didn't have no time off.
Yeah.
I didn't have no recharge time. And summer's a necessary evil. But I'm saying, how do you avoid that? What are some ideas? Put your head coach hat on in the future whenever that happens for you. What are some ideas you think that could help avoid that burnout?
You're talking like for the coaches or for the players or for both?
Coaches more specifically.
Okay, so I'm gonna shout him out, Coach Brad Pormley at DeRitter. I thought his way of attacking the summer was like, I don't know if you can do it much better than that. July was Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Like you went on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. You were off Wednesday and Friday, and I'm sorry, June.
Mm-hmm.
July was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, with Wednesday kind of being a little more hands-on.
A little more heavy football?
Yeah. But you had the entire 4th of July week off. And you also got to pick 4 days. Any 4 days without a question, like, you can pick it, you can take them off.
Some personal days.
So you can, like, as you can take a Thursday and a Monday off, and then you have the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off, or you can take 2 days before 4th of July, 2 days after 4th of July, and have an extended break. Whatever you want, you take them off. Those are your days.
Was there any consequence if you had to be absent outside of those days?
He worked with us. Like, he's a big family man.
Right.
Like, big family man. And so if it had anything to do with your family or anything, like, yeah, man, like, you're good. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. So, what about rotating coaches? Can that work in the summertime? In the modern era of grind, keep up with the Joneses, can you rotate coaches out and maybe bring them in? I'll give you an example. So, I don't know what Dennis does now, but me as a third and fourth year coach when I worked for him, I was jabroni boy. I wasn't nobody important on that staff. So me and a couple other guys didn't have to go to every workout, but on the football day of the week, we had to show up.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know this for a fact, but I think he would probably sweeten the pot for the guys who were there every day, and I was just a football day. Which, is there a way to rotate coaches and still feel like you've accomplished everything you need to accomplish football-wise going into the season?
I think it's to your respective side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I think the coordinators have to set up a schedule because, like, obviously, like, the offensive line coach wouldn't be able to run routes on air,
right,
type of thing, or 7-on-7 in most places. But I feel like the coordinators, like, obviously, you'll have to be there a little more than everybody else. Like, because if everybody else takes off, at least the coordinator, we can do something.
Right.
I think the coordinator and the coordinator's second in charge or first in charge after him have to be there pretty much majority of the time.
So you could cut one or two guys loose most of the time. Hey, I need you to show up on Wednesday because that's our football day,
Yeah.
our heavy football day. Everything else, you're fine.
Or another way to do it is, like, you're the defensive coordinator. Hey, get with your guys, make a schedule. I need at least 2 guys from your side of the ball here every day.
Right.
Y'all decide. You make the schedule. Y'all, like, that is your responsibility. I need it back at the end of next week.
Because I ask, because I go in these head coaching interviews, and you know, one of the things I mean, y'all seen all my materials. I have organization for days, but one of the things that I'm waiting to make is a calendar, a summer calendar, because obviously you get the jobs in the spring, so it's like you got to see who you got. You got to see what they coach. You got to see how many coaches you got. You can't really. I guess you can if you're every coach has to be here every day, so that makes it easier on yourself. But I think I'm buying into the I don't want to burn guys out, so I'm almost leaning towards. And again, this is not a final decision because I don't have a head coaching job. This is just me spitballing, but you know, I'm leaning towards almost, you know, 4 days a week, 3 days are weights and conditioning only, and 1 day is football. Yeah. And then, to me, you could rotate 2 coaches in and out, even your coordinators, because only 1 day is football.
Yeah, if
like
that's
we don't go outside and do football every. Now, if you go outside and do football every day, different.
Need people, yes.
But I also think if I'm gonna go outside and do football every day, I'm not gonna have a designated football day. I'm just gonna do a little bit of football every day and make it almost practice plan style, or something I thought of while you were talking. Okay, if it's my O-line coach is, let's say he got a week, I don't know. Like my O-line running backs coach, okay, they got this week. You know, QB receivers coach, they're gonna be in and out, but they're probably gonna be off. Well, you would do more O-line running back stuff.
Inside, run tracks.
Yeah, you might go outside, walk through, you might do a little bit of individual, but it's gonna be geared towards that versus you're not gonna actually, like I said, you wouldn't ask O-line coach to do routes on air.
You work tunnel screen game.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
So I think that's really interesting. Brownfield, you've probably seen it 100 different ways. You've been around the block.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do think the more football you can do in the summer, the better.
Right.
You know, and I think you can definitely burn out from too much, you know, the conditioning and the lifting, you know. I think all that needs to be, you need to really look at it and say, like, look, what do we really want to improve here? And let's not just come in here and do all this stuff to do it, you know, or to say that we did it, you know. Let's make sure what we're lifting and what we're conditioning. And I've always been a huge believer in your practice is your conditioning, you know, and that's the best way to practice, because if you practice that way, you have a sense of urgency. You're putting pressure on players to perform under pressure. It's the best way to do it.
There needs to be a pace to practice.
Yeah, and you have to have that. You have to,
which
and
is
that
the good
keeps
thing
you,
about a clock.
Right, it keeps you solid. It keeps you going. It keeps that practice. Sometimes it's hard. You're tired. It's hot.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, everybody's struggling. You have, and it really helps to do that. And I think that, you know, you really need in the summer that sense of urgency is not there like it is during the season, and it's not like during a practice in season. So there's a tendency, I think, sometimes just to keep piling more stuff on just to say that you did. I don't believe that's the best way to do it. And they definitely need a break. Like, you need a break. This whole season creep, you know, where football's a 50-week-a-year season if you're not playing another sport, it's an awful lot, and it's something that we have not done in our past. And we've just been doing it for the last 10, 15, 20 years.
We're killing the game. We're killing the game in our own way.
Yeah. I think it's too much. You know, and you talk to people who played 20, 30 years ago, they weren't doing all this, you know?
Right.
They weren't. They weren't.
Those guys wouldn't have played football if it was
They
like this.
probably wouldn't have. Yeah.
You know, and granted, they also had 3-hour practices and this kind of stuff. But
2 days, 3 days, 4 days.
Yeah,
but
salt
still,
tablets and all that.
But still, it was a season. In season, we working. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We probably got time for one more. That could be a whole episode. We should come back to that in a couple weeks and like really flesh it out. But what's one for you, G?
My last one was.
I got one if you don't have one, but go ahead.
It's kind of like it ties into the change of the game. but like the change in quarterback skill sets.
The quarterback guru.
Well, it's just like you don't see a lot more of the traditional drop back, like game managers.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't see many quarterbacks or any at all that will have that 18 to 20 year career.
Peyton Manning and Tom Brady is a thing of the past.
And Drew Brees.
And they were already an anomaly in the first place, but they're a thing of the past.
It's like, you know, and I understand, like, especially like in high school, like having a mobile quarterback, like you can be extremely successful with that. But a lot of mobile quarterbacks don't move on to play quarterback in college. You know, it gets back to that traditional set, a more traditional set. But like, you think about some of the guys that, like, I mean, Lamar Jackson's he's a freak athlete, but how long can he do that for? You know,
Yeah.
Tim Tebow was an unbelievable college player, but like he wasn't that successful.
Translate.
No,
Justin Herbert is another one.
he's another one. He's struggling right now, man. I thought he was going to be a hell of a quarterback.
It's hard to stay on the field.
I mean, Josh Allen is a big dude.
Well, you got to look at it. It's like, why haven't running quarterbacks as a whole? I'm not talking about Lamar Jackson and Michael Vick. Those are the two outliers.
Yeah, I mean,
They're actually the exception that probably proves the rule. You know what I mean? Like those guys, different.
Yeah.
Different story, and mostly because you couldn't catch them.
Right.
So they probably didn't take a ton of beatings. But you look at a Cam Newton, who was a really good pocket passer, but they ran him enough because he was so big.
Yeah.
He wasn't the skirt around guys make you miss. He wasn't Michael Vick or Lamar. He was more of a running back style quarterback. Like if Tim Tebow would have been built like Cam, he'd have lasted longer, but not really because Cam didn't really last long because he took a beating because he ran so much.
He only had 1 or 2 years of real success.
Right, and look, he had a solid career, but again, he was more of a bruiser when he ran.
Yeah,
Right.
Because this is what Lamar's in year what? I think he might be my age.
7?
6 or 7, yeah.
6 or 7.
Like, does he have another 5 years in the league?
Ooh,
Like,
That depends what kind of beating he takes and how he adjusts his game.
it's
and can he? You know, I mean, adjusting that game is taking away some of what you do best.
like
you know,
Mahomes
yourself.
is running around a lot right now, and look at the ankle injuries he's been having, and like how long does Mahomes have?
And Mahomes, he's like a Russell Wilson type, much better, but
Russell Wilson's struggling.
that's right. And those guys scramble to throw. They're not really scrambling to scramble.
They're not bruisers.
They scramble to throw the ball. Lamar Jackson is willing to take off and get up the field. Like, you know, you'll see Mahomes do that some. He might have 20 rushing yards a game. I know that's because I bet on Mahomes to rush sometimes. But him and Russell are kind of the same guy. Like, they can move around, but they're trying to get the ball out. Because I think they understand that, but they're trying to use the athletic part of their game. But like you said, there's still injuries that come with not being the statue. And I think that's why you haven't seen. I think that's why NFL teams still want that prototype.
I think if you look at Louisiana's always done this. Like Louisiana has been notorious for not producing quarterbacks, traditional style quarterbacks.
That's right.
You know, and that's because if you look at Louisiana high school football for decades and decades, just put your best athlete at quarterback. Mm-hmm. He can chunk it downfield when he needs to. But we're mainly running with him. We're going to do dual threat stuff to the point to where it opens up some stuff in the passing game, and that's what we're going to do. You know, you look at guys like Early Doucette at LSU was a quarterback at St. Martinville. You know, I mean he was an All SEC receiver and played in the NFL as a receiver, but in St. Martinville was a quarterback.
That used to be Saban's
Kevin Volker
recruiting
was a
tool.
quarterback.
Saban. Yeah, when Saban was at LSU, he would take high school quarterbacks and make them DBs and receivers and running backs.
It's almost like, you know, high school shortstops, right? I think 1 year at LSU, Paul Maneri had 9 shortstops, 9 high school shortstops starting, you know, but I think the rest of the country is heading that direction now, you know, where they're all kind of giving up more on the traditional drop back passer.
So Saban actually, his famous story, Pat White from West Virginia, who had a great career at West Virginia at quarterback, Vince Young, Texas. Mm-hmm. Saban recruited them both to play something different.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
You ready, Brownfield?
Oh, well, you want to do that? I guess we can do that.
Real quick. Just make it a quick one.
We got 5 minutes. We good.
I took lead the whole time. You go first, man.
All right. The list we discussed before we went on air. I'm changing it.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Going on a positive approach. Pro freaking wrestling. You make the list. Pro wrestling, baby. I watched 2 nights of WrestleMania. Man, I was in hog heaven because pro wrestling is back. It is back.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it back?
Now look. It's still a little theatrical, but that's just the way wrestling's been the last 30 years. Wrestling made that shift 30 years ago, so that's just we accept the theatrics now. But man, Cody Rhodes, the son of the American dream, that the road, baby. I mean, come on, dude won the world title after 2 years of chasing it. I was there every step of the way. Man, I'm juiced up. Pro wrestling, you make the list. I felt like I was a kid again watching that. It was great.
Yeah,
it was
man.
Great. Oh,
that's awesome.
That was cool. And a lot of 90s vibes.
They did.
I saw
And
the highlight of all the legends.
And they had some callbacks with the legends coming, almost kind of like crowning him as the guy, the new guy, and it was awesome. I'm juiced up. I love wrestling.
That's good stuff. I'll go ahead and go real quick. So mine is Deion. Deion's a 2-time lister for me. If you didn't see that this week, he ripped into his team for not participating in class. So, and of course, I was listening to a podcast, the Yahoo Sports College Football Inquirer, which is an amazing podcast. They're like, he makes everything into a movie. So most coaches would hide from the entire world the fact that they're getting emails from professors saying that people aren't doing anything in class. Deion makes a movie out of it and puts it on the screen. He's talking to the whole team, and he turns it into a sermon. And it was really fun to watch. I mean, you know what? This is great because every college athlete needs to hear this. And I don't know how intellectual Deion is, but he made some great points, and he took it and just put it out there for the whole world to see. And it was really great because you don't see that too much. So Deion, you made the list, man.
Hey, he's a promoter. He knew what he was doing putting that on camera. But I like to think the message was legit.
I'm fine with that.
It's like people that do charity work and film it. I mean, your heart was in the right place. You filmed it, but your heart was in the right place.
Here, I'm giving this person $10. Man, mine, and we might have talked about this before, and this one's gonna might give you the free songs or something, but umpires and referees that change the game, or put the game in their own hands, that's not your job.
Nope.
Your job is to call fair, make sure you get the right call. Not I don't know. It's just some of these umpires that call the outer safe in a crucial moment, or knowing that was no, that wasn't the right call, and then you don't want to go ask for help. Or the referees that'll throw the pass interference on a clear.
It's like they were looking for it. That's the thing they were looking for.
You're looking for something that you can avoid. Just call, make it the right call. Make the right call and leave it at that. Don't go home and then question and argue. Man, did I do the right thing right there?
And in baseball, I go with my gut. I'm like, and that's what I tell everybody. I go with my gut. I think it's what I don't think I saw it. I go with what I initially thought I saw. Boom, outer safe, and then like I said, if you want to talk about it, you want to call a timeout, we'll try to get it right. But you got to go with the first thing you thought you saw, not the thing you were looking for.
Right.
That's you'll see 100 different things once you let yourself do it.
Don't take too long. People the umpires that bang bang and then
right.
What took you so long? Nothing changed within that time.
Right. You're calculating stuff,
yes,
and you probably
Ain't no doubt. So that's the gong. That's the bell.
Yeah, watch out, Rock.
Yeah. That was freaking great.
Guess I'm gonna have to go watch it.
I'm Scott Impel on socials. That's Tyler Gaspard, Eric Brownfield, and we are out of time. Go to class.
I need a refill.
Later.